I'm David Reevely.
Hi, I'm Kate Heartfield.
We're writers for the Ottawa Citizen covering the federal election, here to talk to you about some of the most important things that happened on the campaign trail in Ottawa this week.
One thing that happened this week was the influence peddling trial of Bruce Carson, who was a former advisor to the Prime Minister, but it didn't seem to quite land in the news the way that the Mike Duffy trial did.
That's true. Carson was a senior advisor. He worked twice in the Prime Minister's office, sort of an old hand in politics, and he was charged with trying to peddle influence to try to sell water purification systems on First Nations reserves. Now the thing is, the trial, which was arguably up there with that of Mike Duffy in terms of the seriousness of the charge, didn't get the attention because it was largely done with documents. They passed in written testimony and other things from a preliminary hearing earlier, so you didn't get the kind of parade of witnesses coming in and senators and other people from deep inside Stephen Harper's inner circle talking about how that office worked.
Right, and I think we'll get the ruling on that October 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
And some other things that have happened this week are that the all candidates meetings have started happening, and this weekend we'll have a familiar sight on our roadways and other public spaces.
Yeah, the signs get to go up on public property. There's a rule that's set by the City of Ottawa. Each city gets to set its own rules for when election signs can be posted and where they can go. And here, people have been allowed to put them on their lawns since the middle of August, but only now can they go up on boulevards and medians and hung from railings and other places. So now the candidates are really going to be blanketing their ridings with all kinds of posters, all advertising themselves at every corner.
Another thing we're seeing are the signs advertising voter education events, pop-up education campaigns, and signs about who to vote for, all kinds of voter education and get out the vote efforts going on in all kinds of neighborhoods, so keep your eye out for that as well.
What are some of the more interesting meetings coming up that you can think of?
I think there will be, well, we've had lots already on the Quebec side, and there are two happening in Ottawa Centre over the next couple of days, and that's obviously a very high-profile riding.
Coming up in the next week, we have the Globe and Mail debate on the economy coming up. Going to be a whole bunch of candidates having to respond to things that their leaders have said. After that?
And after that, the Monk debate on foreign policy on September 28th, which will be interesting, especially given the high interest in Ottawa and the presence of Paul Dewar here as well.
So, for the Ottawa Citizen, I'm David Reevely.
And I'm Kate Hartfield.